Hotep Congo Nation, I'm Sister Johnson and welcome to our math lesson. Today is Tuesday, May 5th, 2020. Before we begin our math lesson, I want to go over our roster for today to make sure that you know which classes you should attend and what activities you should do throughout the school day. Let's take a look at our roster. Let's look at the schedule for Tuesday and Thursday. Morning Circle begins at 9 o'clock and ends at 9:30 a.m. At 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m., you have your math lesson. From 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., you have your science lesson. 12:30 to 1:30 is your lunch period. Then you are going to head to Sister Sabrina's page to attend your physical education class, as well as 15 minutes of dear time. At 2:30 to 3 p.m., you should be on your computer-assisted learning for math. You may use math seeds at that time. From 3 p.m. to 3:30 p.m., you should be doing your computer-assisted learning for literacy. That includes reading eggs or eSparks. Okay, Congo Nation. Now I want to do some recognitions. I have a recognition. I would like to recognize all the scholars who earned good, better, best on their math assessment last Thursday. Let's take a look. Brother Darrell, woo. Brother Shaquan, woo. Brother Rayvon, woo. Brother Jesse, woo. Sister Ava, woo. Sister Michaela, woo. Brother Dustin, woo. Sister Elijah, woo. Brother Nakai, woo. Brother Ronnie, woo. And Sister Mackenzie. Woo. Good job, scholars. Very good. Congratulations, mighty mathematicians, and please keep up the great work. Let's begin our lesson by doing a do now. Your do now is going to be to tell me how many equal parts each shape has. I'm going to show you the picture of 6 shapes, and you will write the amount of equal parts. Yay, Bo? All right, let's get started. So your first shape is this circle. Please count the amount of equal parts and write it down in your composition book. Don't forget to head your paper with your first, last name, the date, 5/5/20, the subject math, and your heading is Math Do Down. All right, Congo Nation, moving on to number 2. Number 2 is a square. How many equal parts does this square have? Okay. Number 3 is a rectangle. How many equal parts does this rectangle have? Number 4 is another circle, which reminds me of a slice of pizza. How many equal parts does this circle have? All right, number 5 is a hexagon. Please write down the amount of equal parts this hexagon has. And your last one for your do now is this triangle. How many equal parts does this triangle have? All right, Congo Nation, now that you're finished your do now, let's talk about the virtue of Mayat, balance. According to Mayat, balance is when the internal of a human being, what goes on the inside, and that human's external environments are aligned with others and the rest of creation. Mayat's balance makes the world equal and fair. Balance is also defined as a condition in which elements or things are equal or in the correct proportions. Keep this vocabulary in mind as we learn our concept today. Scholars, for some reason, talking about balance made me hungry. So, luckily, my brother said that he would bring me some pizza. Here's what happened. That pizza looks delicious.
It's real good. You want to split it?
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
So, splitting means that I get one half and you get another half, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. I have our pizza cutter here. You want to cut it for
Sure.
me? Thank you so much.
No problem.
Oh, thank you.
That's half, right?
I don't know. It seems like this one might be a different size than your slice. Scholars, what do you think? Is this pizza cut in half? What do you think, bro?
I like my slice.
I'm sure you do, but I'm feeling like the amount that you're going to eat and the amount that I'm going to eat are unbalanced. I don't think they're equal.
It may not. Is there a way to find out?
I think so. I think maybe we should get another pizza and see if we can split it into two.
Cool. We'll try again.
All right. I think you hold yours here, and I'll hold mine here, and let's see something. Whoa, that was so cool. Are they split in half now?
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like my piece and your piece are the same size, so they're balanced, right? If I put my piece, my slice, on top of your slice, they're the same size. Thank you, bro. I feel much better about this pizza now.
No problem.
And thank you again for bringing me some.
No problem. What is family for?
All right, see you later. All right, congregation. So my brother went back home. I'm so grateful that he came to share his pizza with me. But that made me think about this concept of halves in math. And I want to teach that to you today. Yay, Bo? All right, Congo Nation. So I want to explain what half means. And we're going to practice splitting this pizza here into half. Yay, Bo? All right, let's get started. So let's look at the definition of halves of. When you describe something that's cut or split in half, you would say that there are halves of. Yay, Bo? All right, so when you have halves of something, that thing is split into two equal parts. That means that it is two pieces that are the same size. Yay, Bo? So halves are two equal parts or two pieces that are the same size. So let's go ahead and split this first pizza in half. Let's think about my experience with my brother when the slices were unbalanced. They were not equal, right, in proportion. We want to make sure that if you are cutting something in half, that each side is equal. So question, Congo Nation. If I want to split this round pizza in half, should I cut it here? What do you think? Should I cut it here? No. Very good. Because if I cut it here, then that means that this side is smaller than this side. Or this side is larger than this side. I want to make sure that I go to the very middle of this pizza, and I'm going to cut it by drawing a line straight through the middle of the pizza so that each part of the pizza is equal in size. If we slice this pizza at this point, Congo Nation, is it split in half? Yes or no? Very good. Yes, it is. This part of the pizza is equal to this part of the pizza. Yay, Bo? So then I have 1, 2 halves of a pizza. If you with me, say, I'm with you. All right, very good. Now, what does this slice of pizza remind you of? What shape is that pizza in? Very good. It looks like a circle. So Sister Johnson just wanted to show you what it looks like on our pizza and also what it looks like on a circle. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to split this circle into 2 halves. Yay, Bo? All right. Let me go here and bam. I split my pizza into 2 halves. What did you say, scholars? Yes, you are correct. this is not how you split that circle into 2 halves. I have to make sure that I draw my line in the middle. Yay, Bo? Alright, so I'm going to try again. I go to the middle of my circle. I draw my line straight down. I'm trying to be as straight as I can be. Is that better, scholars? If you say yes, give me 2 claps. Very good. We have now split this circle into 2 halves. Yay, Bo? And by splitting it into 2 halves, how many equal parts did we create? Show me with your math fingers. 2. Very good. Scholars, now that we have cut this pizza into 2 halves, I can take my 1 half, since we split them into 2 equal parts. Now it's balanced. Me and my brother have the same amount of pizza that we can eat. I have my 1 half. Yay, Bo? All right, let's continue. Now, scholars, me and my family, we really love pizza. So sometimes we order a pizza known as a Sicilian pizza. And that Sicilian pizza is in the shape of a rectangle. So I wanted to show you how we can split this Sicilian pizza into 2 equal parts. How we can split this pizza into 2 halves. If you're ready, say, I'm ready. All right, Congo Nation. So who has an idea of where we can draw our line to split this Sicilian pizza in half? Do you think that we should draw our line here? Yes or no? No, very good. What about here? Would that give us 2 equal parts? Yes or no? No, very good. Where do I have to go on this Sicilian pizza to draw my line? Very good. I heard that keyword middle, right? It's very easy to remember that when you split something into 2 halves, you have to go to the middle of that thing. And in this example, we're using a pizza. So we're going to go to the middle of this Sicilian pizza that's in the shape of a rectangle. And I'm going to draw a line straight down. Let me come in front of it. Make sure it's right in the middle. All right. I'm going to draw my line up, straight down. Just pretend that that's a really straight line, Congo Nation. All right. So now we show that we have 1 part or 1 half of our pizza. And then the second part or the other half of our pizza. We have split this pizza into 2 halves. Yay, Bo? This is half 1 and this is half number 2. This is 1 half and this is the second half. Now, Congo Nation, what if I didn't want to split the pizza that way? What if I didn't want to make a vertical line down the middle of my pizza? What other type of line could I draw to split this pizza into 2 equal parts? Very good, Sister Zoe Morales. She said that we can draw a horizontal line. So a horizontal line means I have to draw a line from this side to that side. I'm going to start in the middle because I'm trying to split this pizza into 2 halves. So I know I have to begin in the middle. So I'm going to start here and draw a horizontal line straight through this pizza. Yay, Bo? All right, and that's a little crooked. Let me go ahead and fix the line because we want to make sure that we can see that it's going straight through the middle. All right, Congo Nation. So we're going to imagine that this part of the pizza is equal to this part. These are 2 equal parts. Yay, Bo? So not only can we draw vertically through our shapes, but we can draw horizontally as well. Are these 2 parts of the pizza equal? Very good. Yes, they are. All right, so we still created 2 equal parts or 2 halves, even though we didn't draw a vertical line. Yay, Bo? All All right, let's go ahead and try it out over here on this rectangle. Let's show it on a shape. All right, Congo Nation, I'm going to draw the vertical line down. And now I have 2 halves in my rectangle. And then we also learned that we can draw a horizontal line. And now I have split my rectangle into 2 other equal parts, or 2 other halves. Yay, Bo? All right, but Congo Nation, I need your help. Because not only do me and my brothers like pizza, but my mom and dad, they like pizza too. So if it was me, my brother, my mom, and my dad eating, how could I split this pizza into 4 equal parts? I already have 2 equal parts here. Is there another line I can draw to make that into 4 equal parts? Yes or no? Very good. I see a lot of thumbs. I can go back to the middle and draw a line down. I have my horizontal line that split my rectangle or my pizza into 2 halves, and then I drew another line, a vertical one this time, that split that 2 into 4. Yay, Bo? When you make 4 equal parts in a shape, or when you cut a pizza into 4 equal parts, those are called fourths or quarters of. So let's take a look at the definition. Congo Nation, read this with me. Fourths or quarters of. Fourths or quarters of are 4 equal parts, which means that there are 4 pieces that are the same size. Yay, Bo? So if you split something into fourths or quarters of, you create 4 equal parts or 4 pieces that are the same size. Let's take a look at our rectangle. We have 1 part here. We have our 2nd part, our 3rd part, and then our 4th part. Yay, Bo? We created that with a vertical line down the middle of the rectangle and then a horizontal line through the middle of the rectangle. Yay, Bo? Very good. We could also do that to our pizza. We already have our horizontal line going through the middle of the pizza, and then I'll create a vertical line going through the middle of the pizza. If I took my slice, I would be taking 1/4 or 1/4 of the pizza. Yay, Bo? All right, Congo Nation, let's look at some other shapes that are split in half or split into 4 quarters. And you guys are going to tell me which is which. Yay, Bo? Congo, since we're no longer talking about pizza and about shapes, we're going to use the term divide. Divide means to separate parts or to split parts into equal parts. Yay, Bo? All right, Congo Nation. So let's take a look at these 6 shapes and determine whether they are divided into 2 halves or fourths. Yay, Bo? All right, the first shape is what, Congo Nation? A circle. Good job. If you think that this circle is divided into 2 halves, you're going to show me by putting up 2 fingers. If you say it's divided into 4 quarters, you're going to show me by showing 4 fingers. All right, so let me see your vote. Is this first circle divided into 2 halves or 4 quarters? 2 halves, very good. And we can determine that by counting the amount of equal parts. So let's go ahead and count the equal parts in this first circle. 1, 2. Very good. We drew our line straight down the middle of the circle to divide it into 2 halves. Good job. Pat yourselves on the back. Let's move on to our next shape. What is the name of our next shape, Congo Nation? Very good. It is a rectangle. Let's count the parts. 1, 2. Since there are 2 parts, did we divide this rectangle into 2 halves, or did we divide it into 4 quarters? Very good. We also divided this rectangle into 2 halves. We drew our line straight in the middle, going diagonally, because that's fine too. Sometimes we can create halves or fourths by drawing diagonal lines, not just vertical or horizontal. Yay, Bo? But since there are 2 equal parts, that means that this rectangle is split in half. Yay, Bo? All right, and I'm going to write that here. So we split this circle into 2 halves, or divided the circle into 2 halves. And we also divided our rectangle into 2 halves. All right, moving right along, Congo Nation. What's our next shape? A square, very good. How do we divide this square? Did we divide it into 2 halves or fourths? What do you think? Very good. I see all your fingers. You put up 4 fingers, which means that we divided the square into 4 quarters or into fourths. But let's double check. And the way we double check is by counting our equal parts. How many are there? Moja and Billy Tattoo. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you have equal parts, then that means that you have quarters or fourths. Yay, Bo? All right, very good. We're halfway through. Let's move on to our next shape. What shape is this, Congo Nation? Very good. We have another square. Let's vote. Is this square divided into 2 halves? Show me 2 fingers. Or is it divided into fourths? Show me 4 fingers. Very good. The square is also divided into 2 halves. Let's see, go for rewind back to this square and make note as well. So this one was divided into 4 quarters, which we also know as fourths, right? 4 quarters and fourths are the same. All right, moving on to our next shape. What shape is that, Congo Nation? Good job. That's a rhombus or a diamond. Let's see. Is that rhombus divided into 2 halves or fourths? Fourths. Very good. Let's count. Moja and Billy Tattoo. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many equal parts are there? 4. Very good. So that means that this rhombus is divided into fourths. Very good. All right, moving on to our last shape. What shape is that, Congo Nation? Good job. That is a rectangle. Now, on this rectangle, do you see any horizontal lines? No. Very good. We only see vertical lines. And still, that is split into equal parts. Yay, Bo? So you might find a shape that doesn't have vertical lines or horizontal lines, like this square. And then you might see a shape that only has vertical lines or only has horizontal lines. As long as each part is equal and there are 2 or 4 of them, then they are split into halves or fourths. Yay, Bo? All right, so how many equal parts are in this rectangle? 4, very good. Therefore, was it divided into halves or fourths? Fourths, very good. Okay, so there are 4 quarters in this rectangle. Good job, Congo Nation. All right, now that we have determined whether or not it was split or divided into halves, or if it was divided into 4 quarters, I want to show you how to represent 1/2 or how to represent 1/4. Yabo? And we're going to do that by shading in one part of each shape. So what I'm going to do now is I want you to pause this video. And if you don't have these shapes in your notes, I want you to draw these shapes now. Make sure that you include where we divided each shape, because we're going to learn how to represent 1/2 and 1/4. See you in a bit. All right, Congo Nation, let's begin shading in each of these shapes to represent 1/2 or 1/4. Now you want to remember, if a shape has 2 equal parts, then it has 2 halves, right? So if we are shading in 1/2, it's always the shape that has 2 equal parts. If we are shading in a shape that is divided into quarters or fourths, then it's going to be the shape that has 4 equal parts. Okay, both? All right, so this shape here has 2 equal parts, so we know that it is divided into 2 halves. I am going to represent 1/2 by shading in one of the equal parts, just like this. Okay, Bo? So when you look at my shape, the shaded area represents 1/2. Now write that down. The shaded area represents 1/2. This is 1/2 of the circle. This is the other half of the circle. So since I colored in this half here, that represents 1/2. Yay, Bo? Okay, and I want to just number this here, right? 2 equal parts. Since I only shaded in 1/2 of this circle, that's why we say that that represents 1/2. Yay, Bo? All right, let's continue practicing. So if I want to shade in 1/2 of this rectangle, what should I do, combination? Very good. Am I going to color in both of the parts in this rectangle? Yes or no? No, I just want to shade in one. I just want to shade in 1/2 of this rectangle. Okay, Bo? That represents 1/2. And make sure that you're doing this in your composition book, combination. You also want to label each shape so that we know that the shaded area represents 1/2. All right, this is 1/2 of this rectangle. All right, let's move on to our square that has been divided into quarters. There are 4 equal parts in the square, but now I want to show by shading in a part 1/4 of the square. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. I'm only going to shade in one of those parts. Once I shade in that one part, that represents 1/4 or 1/4 of that square. Let me write it down. 1/4 or 1/4. Okay, Bo? 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts. I only shaded in one, so this picture represents 1/4. All right, Congo, now you tell me, If I shade in one equal part of this square, is it 1/2 or 1/4? If you say 1/2, give me a 1 finger. If you say 1/4, give me 4 fingers. Good, I see 1 finger because we split this square into halves, right? 2 halves. There's one here and there's the second one there. But we only shaded in one. So that means we are showing 1/2. Yay, Bo? All right, Congo. How can I show 1/4 on this rhombus? How many equal parts should I shade in? Show me with your math fingers. Very good. Everyone put up just one. I'm just going to shade in one of the equal parts. And since there are 4 equal parts altogether, that means I've created 1/4, right? 1 out of the 4, or 1/4. I'm going to write it here. 1/4. And we also know that as 1/4. All right, let's take a look at our last rectangle, our last shape, which is a rectangle. How many equal parts should I shade in to create 1/4? 1, very good. I shade in 1 of the 4 equal parts, which means I created 1/4. Yay, Bo? All right, good job, scholars. So you're going to have some practice on shading in shapes that are divided into 2 halves, that are divided into halves or divided into fourths on your problem set. But I just wanted to have some practice before you do it independently. Yay, Bo? Congo, before we wrap up our lesson, I wanted to show you examples of shapes that are not divided into 2 halves or 4 quarters. Even though in the rectangle and the square, there are 2 parts, those parts are unequal. Therefore, they are not split into 2 halves. When we take a look at the rhombus and the triangle, they have 4 parts, but those 4 parts are unequal, which means that they are not divided into 4 quarters or fourths. All right, Congo Nation, so very good. We are finished our concept development. Now let's take a look at our problem set. Congo Nation, please turn to a new page in your composition book. Write your heading, first, last name, the date, 5/5/2020. The subject math and your heading is problem set. For number 1, you are going to take a look at these shapes, shapes A through F, and ask yourself, are the shapes divided into halves? Are these shapes divided into halves? You're going to write the letters A through F, and by those letters, write yes if they are divided into halves, or write no if they aren't. Feel free to pause the video so that you can answer number 1. All right, moving on to number 2. For number 2, you're going to take a look at these 6 shapes and answer, are the shapes divided into quarters or fourths? If they are divided into quarters or fourths, you're going to write yes. If you say no, they aren't divided into those 4 equal parts, you're going to write yes. Next, number 2, please write A, B, C, D, E, and F, and then write yes or no. For number 3, please draw the following shapes: a circle, a rectangle, a square, a rhombus, another circle, and another rectangle. For each shape, you're going to draw that line that divides each shape into two halves. Then, you're going to color one half of each shape. Remember, Congo Nation, you may pause this video to complete each problem. For number 4 of your problem set, please draw the following shapes: a rectangle, a circle, a rhombus, another rectangle, and a third rectangle, just as you see on this page. You're also going to create that line that divides each shape into fourths. Once you're finished those 2 steps, please color 1/4 of each shape. For number 5, please take a look at the following shapes. For A, what part of the shape is shaded? You want to write the correct answer. So for number 5, look at A and go ahead and write A on your paper next to number 5. For shape A, which is a rectangle, what part is shaded? Is it 1/2 or 1/4? Please write down your answer. For B, we have a square. What part of the square is shaded? 1/2 or 1/4? Write down your answer. C is a rhombus. What part of the rhombus is shaded? Is it 1/2 of the rhombus or 1/4? And D is a rectangle. What part of the rectangle is shaded? 1/2 or 1/4? Please write down your answer. Mighty mathematicians, now that you are finished your problem set, we have come to the end of our math lesson. Please take a picture of your problem set and send it to our nation's email at grade1@sfacs.us. I will see you in just a bit for science, and I thank you so much for tuning into our lesson today.